Rumble had me as private. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Turn the Page, and I hope that you guys, are all here. I don't see anybody in any of the chats just yet. Let me go over to YouTube, and I see Helen is out there, and Colleen. Hey, Colleen. And I'm waiting for anyone to jump in over at Rumble. I had a little bit of a problem with Rumble. The notifications may not have gone out, but normally people may find us anyways. So let me just, let me just do this.
We got two in Rumble.
You got two in Rumble? All right. Let me just open up my Rumble account here. And we're also waiting for one other person to join us. And let's see here. My content. And yeah, well, I see Alley Cat's in there. Hazmat, is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Scott's Pace. Hey, Scott, how are you? So let me just kind of I'll turn my head back to the camera here. Let me move this over. It's not wanting to move. So, all right. Okay, everybody, we're just a little bit delayed, a little bit of technical difficulties. Rumble has a mind of its own now all of a sudden. So just wanted to just reach out to everyone. We've got a really cool roundtable tonight, and it's all going to be extended, another part two, if you will, about healing. And it's going to be really, really good. So my understanding is Allie's going to give her presentation, healing, and I'm not sure what they're going to do. So it'll be a surprise to myself and you guys also. Buck is going to talk about his version of healing. And let's see what else we have out here. And I see Mayday's out there. Hey, Mayday, thank you so much for alerting me. As usual, she is my lifesaver. I don't know what I would do without her. Let's see what else we have out here. Okay. I'm just going to leave this open here like this. And see what happens. All right, let me pop out this chat. Just still trying to get organized here, you guys. And all right, let's see if I can do it this way. I see Kearns is out there. Hey, Kearns, how are you doing, sweetheart? Good to see you. Like I said, we are waiting for a couple of our co-hosts to return. And we're in no hurry here tonight, taking it really light and easy. It's about 80 degrees today, and no humidity. I love this time of year here, and I have to get used to it when the humidity comes out in the next month or so. So the South is beautiful. I actually drove around in my golf cart trying to make a video for you guys because all the flowers are bloomed, and it's just beautiful. The azaleas, which I think is the state flower, is all over everywhere. You name the color, it's there. And I was hoping to make a video out there. I'm going to just say this to Marsha. You're going to have to go out and come in again. Marsha, go out and come back in. If she can hear me, because I don't see her. She says she's backstage and she's not. All right, so let's see. I guess it's lots of challenges here. We've got Buck, who is here. He just stepped away for a minute. Hello. Just waiting for everyone to get in the chat there. Ellie, you can say anything to anyone out in the chats if you feel free to do so.
Hi, everybody. setting the gremlins away.
There you go. Yeah. What is that you have? I didn't even see that.
Sage.
Chad Ben 69 said he's from northern Minnesota, still frozen up here. What? That is my what when I can't believe when I hear something. We got 80 degrees and there's still cold up there. I think things will start to change. There was a massive storm that ran through the Midwest, and I hope everybody's safe and okay. A lot of uprooted trees that I saw. Just sending out, blessings to everybody and make sure that they're okay out there. And okay, so in the meantime, we're gonna see if Marsha can enter in, but the show must go on. All right. So Buck, hey, how are you?
Good. How are you ladies doing today?
Good.
Woo-hoo. Alley Cat, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
What do you got? A
Yeah,
big
I
butt?
love
What do you got? What do you got? A Cheech and Chong going on over there?
Stoking
Clearing
it.
Cheech and Chong.
Stoking it. Ah, let's see here. Buck, if
yeah.
you want at any point in time, please reach out and say hello to any of your followers out there, because you guys do bring them to me, and I appreciate it. I'm very grateful for both of you being here. This is a really cool chemistry that we have. And once we get Marsha in, if we get her in, she might be having some technical difficulties. But anyways, the show tonight, people are just jumping in. We're going to talk about, it's a continuation from the last show. We're going to talk more about healing because it's so needed. And, I'm getting to the point where everybody is saying everything that's wrong out there with this world. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, we know, we get it. What are we going to do about it, right? That's where my mindset is at. Either we sit there and we cry in our milk, or we basically learn how to clean it up and cleanse ourselves, and which Alley Cat is doing right now.
Yes, I am.
So last time, if you guys were on here, I'm just going to talk a couple more minutes to see what's going on with Marsha here. And we had some weird vibes coming through. It could have been high vibrations or whatever it may have been. I should light my candle. If either of you have a prayer or want to say something, I just got to find my lighter. We can do that. Otherwise, I will find one. And Alley Cat, do you have a prayer that you normally do?
Sure. I'm calling in all of the higher dimensionalities of the positive light, shine, light, healing, strength, positivity, and clarity on everybody that is here today. I'm asking my higher self and my light being to make sure the wires are cleared tonight for everybody to listen to us, clear and precise. And blessings to everybody. And thank you all for coming.
Wow, that was beautiful. Nice. Yeah, it was great. And I want to say, Buck, you're looking brighter than ever.
There you go. Pretty in pink, right? Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget
We'll
about
never
me.
forget Buck. We will never forget Buck. Right. And so there we go. All right, that was so much fun there. I think we finally got our other healer in here. I hope that just take 5, Marsha, and breathe and center yourself, and I'll bring you right in a minute. So yeah, Mayday is saying, yeah, Buck, pretty in pink. You better believe it. And, so I think one day we just need to sing a bunch of songs. We got to make a mix of something, right, you guys? Every time, and this is me, this is how my brain works. I don't know if I should say anything to anybody, but every time I hear somebody say something, it reflects back to a song. And sometimes it just slips out of my mouth and I just start singing it and move right along like you guys aren't even here with me. All right. Alley Cat is saying blessings to everybody out there. And let's see who else we have out there. We have Denise is out there saying hello, Buck, 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 Buck. All right. All right. We're stuck on Buck.
What's funny is we used to do that in high school. We used to, my friends used to tell me to do that. Go Buck, 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 Buck. So.
Hello, Marsha. Now we have Marsha Healing Breeze. Summer Woman is with us. And how are you doing, Marsha? And we'll get started in about 2 minutes.
I'm doing fine. I wish I could get an easy beginning on these things. It's something always apparently goes wrong.
You're being initiated. We've been struggling for years on this stuff, and I still do it. Oh, I was hysterical when I first did this. People would crack up just to see me not just struggle to get on. They're like, we got to see what kind of stuff that she's going to do here. All right. So I was announcing there's a lot more people out there in the chat, and I think I kind of must have closed YouTube here, and I'm going to try to open them back up again. So this is the way that we're going to do it. We're going to talk. It's a part 2 of the healing. And I'm going to have Marsha talk first. And she's going to go into whatever. I think I took some notes from you guys just so that I kind of had a clue where we were going with this. And So Marcia's going to do a specific exercise. So the reason why I asked this to get some warning to people, so people are at home and they're either watching on their tablets or a TV or what have you. So if you want to do the healing, go along with us, get yourself prepared, center yourself at home. And then after that, we're going to have Buck give his interpretation of healing. And, as most of you know, Buck is probably the most down-to-earth person that I know that can really explain his type of healing and what he goes through on a day-to-day basis. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then, of course, we have Allison. I like to call you Allison, not
You can
Allie.
call me whatever you like.
Okay. And Allison is trying to see where we're going here with this. I know I asked her. First of all, she said, let me tune in to see what everyone could use, which I thought, wow, that is somebody really using their intuition at that point. So Allison is going to talk. I'm going to wait, and then you guys will see. But anybody at home, you want to play along, just get yourself prepared. Use your sage or whatever it is and get yourself centered and aligned with your higher self. And we're going to start to talk with Marcia. Okay, so it's 6:11. We're going to give Marcia about 15 minutes to go through her presentation of her rendition of healing. And go for it, Marcia.
I'd like to start with a quote by Teilhard de Chardin. Love is the affinity which links and draws together the elements of the world. Love, in fact, is the agent of universal synthesis. So I'd like you to keep that in mind. And what I'm going to talk about is a healing, is an energy exercise that you can do to heal yourself or others. And it's really tuning into the energy of love. Now might sound easy, but we all have different ideas about what that is. And there's a specific frequency that we have to hit in order to tap into that. And once you do it a few times, it gets easier and easier. So the first thing you have to do is give up your expectations. When you're going to do a healing, let go of all your expectations. Don't think, yes, this is going to work, or no, it's not going to work. Just surrender to the moment and put yourself into the whole total place of being in tune with you and whatever you can experience in the moment as a love vibration. I've talked before about the heart-mind exercise, and that's simply where you take a few deep breaths and take yourself out of your head, bring it to your heart, and put both of your hands over your heart. This is the first step. And you start by taking a few deep breaths and getting yourself to visualize the energy of caring for anyone or anything, appreciation for anyone or anything, compassion for anyone or anything, and gratitude for anyone or anything. And that should get your heart energy tuned in to where you need to be to do the next step in this process. So you do that a few times. Now, this I call a deep hearing exercise. And in order to do energy healing, you have to do deep listening. And that means that if you're trying to heal something in yourself, or you're trying to heal something in someone else, let's say you're trying to heal your pancreas or your big toe, doesn't matter what it is. You focus on that organ or whatever it is that you're trying to heal. Now, some people like to focus on, in this listening, focus on the disease that is in function. So if it's cancer, some people like to talk to the cancer. I don't really like to do that too much because I think it empowers something that you really don't want to empower. What you're trying to do is connect to whatever it is that you're trying to assist in healing. And you're an assistant here. Even if this is within yourself, you're an assistant. So let's say you have something in your uterus, something's wrong with your uterus if you're a woman, and you want to heal that. Now, lots of women suffer from endometriosis. So I don't want you to focus. I wouldn't recommend focusing on the endometriosis, but I would like for you to visualize your uterus, your fallopian tubes, and everything around that if you can. If you're a man and you want to focus on something else, some other thing to heal, it doesn't matter what it is. All you have to do is picture that, visualize that in your heart. And again, taking the deep breaths. Now, once you get those feelings going of compassion, caring, gratitude, and appreciation, then it's time to stop speaking and start listening. So while you're visualizing whatever it is or whoever it is that you're trying to heal within your heart, it's time to say hello, to greet whatever it is or whoever it is, and to say, I'm here. I'm here to listen. Please tell me what you have to say. And while you're asking that, imagine sending the most love that you can muster to, if it's your uterus and fallopian tubes and so on, you're going to feel like you're just loving them like you would a small child, an innocent baby. If it's a part of your body that has some other type of a disease, cancer. I just did this recently with a woman who had cancer of the kidneys. And so she had a hard time at first focusing on her kidneys. And so it might take you a few minutes. But eventually, if you stay in that place of compassion, caring, gratitude, and appreciation, and you're just visualizing that organ, or for her, it was her kidneys, that she wanted to heal without any expectations. All you want to do is connect, and you want to listen. And that took her a few minutes to get there. And after a while, I was sitting with her, and she said, I think I hear them crying. I said, okay, keep listening. And as you're listening, try to remember to keep sending that compassion, caring, gratitude, and appreciation, and keep listening and encouraging the kidneys to speak, to communicate in any way that they wish to do that. And as she did that, the kidneys started crying harder. And they cried harder. And that went on for several minutes. This isn't an exercise that you can time or that you set your watch to. And you have to go for every working with the time that's needed, and whatever comes forth, the time that's needed to express itself. So her kidneys cried for almost 11 minutes because I was timing it. She wasn't. She had her eyes closed. And after that, after about 11 minutes, she said, well, I think they're done crying. I said, okay, good. Again, focusing on compassion, caring, appreciation, and gratitude. Ask, is there something else? Is there something else? And she silently did. And she sat there for a few minutes, and she said, yeah, they're angry. I said, okay, keep focusing on compassion, caring, gratitude, appreciation. I said, listen to that anger. Listen to what the anger is. Listen to every word as deeply as you can. focusing with as much compassion, caring, appreciation, and gratitude that you can muster. And she said, okay. And so the kidneys just sat there, and she said, they're getting really hot and there's like flames shooting out. I said, okay, keep listening, keep sending that caring, compassion, gratitude, appreciation. No expectations. You're here to listen. You're open. And if fire is coming out, don't try to change it. Don't try to do anything. Just let it express itself. And we went through several things like that. And after a while, the fire died out. And after that, there were more tears. And after that, there was more fire. And this process went on through several different emotions for almost an hour, 20 minutes. And then her kidneys began to speak to her. And they said, ask her some questions, ask her a few questions. And I said, okay, give the best answer that you can. Again, keeping in mind compassion, caring, appreciation, and gratitude. And so a dialogue followed. And then after a while, the conversation kind of came to a place of silence. And I said, well, keep focusing on them and extending them. No expectations, just sending compassion, caring, appreciation, and gratitude. Just encircling them with as much of that energy as you can. And so we sat for almost another hour doing that. And then finally, she said, I think I'm done. I think they're done. I said, okay. And we ended the session. Now, what they told her and what she said to them, she didn't really want to share with me, and that was fine. I didn't need to be a part of that conversation. But she said, I can tell you, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've seen myself in a whole new light. And I think I have to really, I think I've got some forgiveness of myself to do. And I think I have some coming to grips within myself of things that I've done or said that I regret and that I shouldn't have, or that I now can see I wasn't being the best person that I could be. And so she went home with that attitude of she had some self-work to do. And she came back for another session about 3 weeks later. And we went through another deep healing, or a deep listening session, I call it. But this time, she was not the same person that she was the first time. She'd done a lot of forgiveness. She'd done a lot of looking at herself, acknowledging the things that she had done that weren't the best in the world, attitudes that she'd had, some of the things that she had felt very victimized by. She realized she was as much a victimizer in the situation as she was a victim. And that took a lot of courage for her to acknowledge that about herself and then to forgive all of that. So it's a lot of listening, acknowledging, and growing. And 6 weeks later, she went back to her physician and she had another CAT scan, and the cancer was gone.
Oh.
Now, there's not always such a wonderful, dramatic, terrific solution or answer. But in this case, it was a combination of someone who didn't have the expectation of healing. She had the expectation of growing. She wanted to become a better person. She wanted to make amends to those that she had harmed, all at a time when she was feeling victimized by them. And so she'd gone through a lot of that process in those 6 weeks. And when she went into this CAT scan, they were doing the CAT scan with the thought of preparing to take one of her kidneys. And then the thought was they were going to remove the kidney, and she'd found a donor and she was going to get a new kidney. And so imagine the surprise of everyone when they couldn't find any cancer. But this is the healing energy of love. And when we can find our way to that without expectations, without the fear, the worry, the high expectation, I want to heal myself, I've got to do this. If you can let go of the expectations, you can surrender and descend to the place of really, or ascend, whichever way you want to think about it, to a place of just love, where you can really hear what needs to be heard. And so that's the exercise that I have. And I would suggest that everybody think about that. And that's the outline of what you do. It works. Even if it deepens relationships, it may not result in a physical healing, but it always results in the person that's doing it becoming a better person, more fully who they are, and more fully alive and awake. So that's, if everyone has any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them. I don't know where I am in the 15 minutes, but I don't want to.
We're gonna take the questions at the end, and I put a notification out there for everyone. Some may have seen it. If you have a question on any of the speakers tonight, just make sure that if you want to direct it, if it's for Buck, say, hey, Buck, and then ask your question. So we'll do that at the end, because I always love to include the chat. It's real important. Thank you so much, Marcia. That was an awesome story. So, the kidneys, obviously, we could talk about the properties of the kidneys and how important it is. And we can always continue that conversation in another show and stuff like that. But that is very powerful. So it's in the eyes of the beholder who does the healing, and you were assisting and being a conduit for the healing. That was very beautiful. And so we're going to move over to another type of a healing with Buckshot. And again, if you guys have questions for Marcia, please hold off on them at the end and make sure that you put it's for Marcia so that I know to ask her. Buck, you have been on a journey with your personal life, and you talk about going to group, I think, or going to meetings. If you feel comfortable enough, we want to know a little bit more about that type of healing, not towards you personally, but in a generalization of when somebody first comes in, the stages, right? And it could be emotional, could be whatever, all the way to the struggles to the success. If you happen to have something like that, that's just something that I was thinking, because that is a huge healing that so many people are dealing with because of all the drugs that have been brought into this country.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, for me, the hardest thing is for somebody to, first off, admit to have an issue, a problem, and walking into that room, because, like Marcia said, everything Marcia said is pretty much on point with kind of like how recovery works. You go in there with expectations because you don't know what to expect. A lot of people go in there with expectations. I want to be able to manage my usage, right? And still be able to live life, so it doesn't work like that. Okay. It's the first thing, like I said, the hardest thing is to admit you have an issue. So, you go in there, a lot of people, they come in because have hit rock bottom, and, we're there at the place I go to is, it's all pathways of recovery. So it's not a one-stop shop. They whatever works best for you. It's kind of like the spirituality aspect of it. If you go to church and that helps you, that's all fine and dandy. That's the whole point. The whole point is to live life without use of drugs or alcohol. So first, like Marsha, anytime I set expectations, more than likely I'm going to end up in disappointment. So let go of the expectations. I watch, a lot of podcasts, and I watched one yesterday, and this woman said, the first thing to grow when you're first born is the heart, right? The heart is the first thing that it grows as a fetus. So if more people lean more with their heart, like Marsha said earlier, you're more than likely going to have success and, do better in society, right? I know when I lean with my head, a lot of things get fucked up, and so, it's, just God gave us 2 ears, right, to listen, one mouth. So sometimes it's good just to shut the F up and listen. And, if that's what I loved about the rooms is, I mean, you think, okay, I'm the only one that's dealing with this. When you walk in there, for me, there's a lot more people that go through a lot more struggles than I have in life. I don't have it as bad as the next person, Um, like I mentioned before about, women coming in there trafficked and stuff like that, and and Teeny, I mean, that woman just gives me the courage to, that I could beat this. Anybody that's a fighter and that is looking to help people, that's where I want to surround myself with. I did go to, I went to actually a meeting. I normally don't go to meetings on Saturday, but I did go for a friend who was a woman that I met that was trafficked, and she wanted to kill herself, and I gave her just a little, like, a spiritual card, right, with all, like, just things you do. I don't remember exactly what it was because it was a while ago. It was just things you do, like an affirmation type of card. And she came up to me and said, the next day was like, you don't know how much that meant to me. So her birthday was the other day, and she's like, I haven't gotten a card since I was 18. She just turned 43. So I went there to actually drop off a birthday card. Because it's, somebody shouldn't have to go through life like that. And like I said, I don't have it as bad as these other women do, and some of the other people that have struggled. So it's always that compassion, the empathy, all that stuff that you see in those rooms that gets me through. Uh, and just listening to some of the wisdom. I hear a lot of different stories. One poor man was addicted to crack. Smoked about 3 ounces in a weekend. And you talk about healing, like Marcia said, he was pretty much without oxygen. Let's just say for about 12 hours, right? Medically induced coma. Obviously, he told the story the other day, so he did not die. He miraculously came up, said a few words. They thought he was going to be obviously brain dead without oxygen for that long. Somehow, so there are miracles. I watched Joe Dispenza. There are ways, our ways that our mind can heal our bodies, right? It's designed to do that. I mean, the guy couldn't walk, and now he's walking. So that's like anything that's inspirational. I watch. He always has people on there who have healed themselves from diseases that medication or medicines, like Marsha said, cancer, that you don't need all that junk. Now, not a medical advisor, right? We're not, but we all know that a body is designed to heal ourselves. So, so that's some of the things that I like to do. Go to the rooms, reading. I mean, I'm going to read this one thing of meditation that we get on Sunday meetings. So spirituality is relationship with reality. As we develop our spiritual lives, we find that reality becomes less frank. Can you guys see this, or is it backwards?
No, it's good.
It's good? Okay. So we come to see that our change in our perspectives can totally shift the way we understand our situation. When our lives are based in spirituality, our perspectives and responses are based on ever-evolving relationships to something greater than ourselves. Self-obsession gives way to humility. We understand that we are not the main character in every play, but that our supporting efforts can make a real difference in the lives of those around us. So I kept this because it really hit home with me. Said I'm taking that home with me. So that's some of the things I look at. Again, I got this book that was recommended to me when we were on Tara's show, right, Allie? It's called The Noticer, and it's about an old man who is pretty much in Florida. He goes around and he's actually helping people solve their own like having them look within to solve their own problems. And it's all the main thing is about perspective. Is I'm only on chapter 3, but it's about perspective. You know, he was helping a homeless man underneath the bridge. You know, he sat down with them with Vienna sausages and anchovies, and he asked the gentleman what do we eat? And he's like, "What do you mean what do we eat? Venice sausages and anchovies." He's like, "No, we're eating surf and turf." He told him. He's like, "It's all about perspective." Long story short, this man, he gave the man books to read, right? All about people that in history have been successful people. You know, General Patton. His list goes on and on. Benjamin Franklin, all these other people that they're pretty much biography about how they struggled from the bottom and made their way to the top. Eventually, this man wound up owning his own home, getting married, having kids. You know, so the other story was about I can't remember it. Oh, about married couple, about how they're arguing, about to get divorced. He sat down with them and told them about different perspectives, and now they're back together working it out. So it's all about perspective in life, you know, and just being, for me, it's service to others. You know, if I'm leaning with my heart more than my head, good things happen. And, you know, I definitely am blessed to be where I'm at and having the relationships and the family that I have in the room and even in the chats, even though we haven't really met anyone in person. Just I met Jack and JQ, but and Bruce Poppy, but you know, it does feel like we're all family, right? So that's what matters to me is to make somebody else's day brighter. And you know, and going into the room, sometimes I don't have to go there and listen all the time, you know, and talk all the time. Just it's good just to sit there and listen and you know, about how to live life and just life terms in general, you know, without the use of drugs or alcohol.
So I had to step away. I had a dog really bothering me for a treat for some reason tonight. I guess he wanted to eat his popcorn and join in on us, but Buck, I'm not sure if you said this or not. So you've seen success, is that correct?
Yes, you see success. I mean, there's people that been going to the rooms, you know, of 20 years, 35 years. Yeah, people that go in there and they mess up and they come back. You know, the main thing is that, you know, that they come back. You know, they come back, they admit their faults, they admit they messed up and they went back out and used. For me, it's to make, like Marcia said, show them compassion. Though, you know, we're not here to do it for you. We're here to sit kind of like a crutch, right? When you break a leg, we're there to assist you, to give you that confidence to do it yourself. There's one gentleman that I love, you know, but what a stubborn man he is. You know, I send him quotes every day that I put on the board, but he's one of those people that, you know, he's not religious. He doesn't really believe in God or anything, but he's finally, after a year, he's finally starting to come around where he's like, I don't know who to thank. Like, I want to thank somebody, but I don't know if I should thank, you know, God or spirits or this and that. He's like, I just don't know where I'm at. He's like, all I know is I don't have the urge to use. And it's just like, one of the other gentlemen, you know, John, who's had multiple years, is like, why don't you thank yourself? You know, because in the end, it does, you know, does come down to you. We're there to help. I'm not a life coach. I'm not a recovery coach there because my time I don't have the time. But it still comes down to you putting in the work. And, you know, if it's like anything else, you know, it's like you don't get better at something, you know, by, all right, sometimes people are, right, you got gifts and they do it and they, right off the bat, they're off and running. Most of it, life doesn't happen that way, you know. Like meditation, you know, it's like you don't become good at meditating just to, you know, to quiet the mind. It's learning how to not run off emotion pretty much. sit still and be patient. Take that step back and breathe, and don't just, try to analyze things. Why is it happening instead of what, why is it happening instead of, what am I messed that up. Why is it happening, instead to me? So yeah, it's just all about perspective, right?
Yeah. So I've got one other thing I wanted to bring to attention, because the way I announced you is, the people are on drugs, but there's also something else out there, which is running rapid, and I know it on a personal level is the pain management. Do you see anybody in there that is trying to get off of that oxy bullshit heroin and is struggling with it, because the doctors basically gave it out very willy-nilly, right? I should be careful with this one. Historical medicine is the word that I'm trying to say with the doctors. So it's history has proven this, but there's no after help for it. It's pretty much, well, if you want to remove yourself from it, it's a process of elimination. Do you ever see anybody coming in with that level? They sell it at the street level, but then when people are actually taking it from the people in the white coats.
Yeah, I mean, you see everything. The most of the issue that I see, or people that have been on pain meds, and they, now that they're cracking down on them because they were giving them out like candy, right? That's why a lot of people are going to heroin or meth or fentanyl, because they can't deal with the pain. So sometimes it is understandable why they go to use, but we all know it's just more damage you're doing to yourself, mind, body, and spirit, right? So the one thing this place, they do have, if they don't have something there, they will refer you to somewhere that can help you. They do have hospital services there. They're two ladies that were there when I started 8 years ago. They both left at the same time, and it's disappointing, but they're actually going into the hospital field. So to help people that have overdose and are trying to get their life situated. So they do have places you can reach out to if you do need to come off. They do have, you know, I'm aware of is called the Phoenix Center, where they do have facilities where you can actually go in and get the help you need. They do have counselors there and psychologists, and because you see everything. A lot of people are, you know, we've been so much, poisoned for so long, that
Mhm.
people just struggle and they use drugs and alcohol as a way to get away from the pain. And, so yeah, you see it. And, you do see people that are dying too from the fentanyl because it's bad now, so
Yeah, it is.
they even give out the Narcan at our facility now. They have a vending machine where you can actually just, like a candy vending machine, you just punch in the number and it comes right. So now that I'm driving, I drive it in the car just in case. Um, I hopefully never have to. It's like a gun, hopefully never have to use it, but it's always good to have it.
Yeah. Like I said, on a personal level, I did lose a brother-in-law to all that stuff that you happen to mention, and it's tough when they start out young, and then when they get into being older, it's very difficult. But thank you so much. And Buck, I do also, I want to invite you that if anytime you have somebody that is a sponsor or whatever that wants to come on and talk about it to help others, because what I'm seeing in the chat here is it looks like there are a few people there that had to break away from that. And I think that would be a great show if you could ever find other resources to bring on and talk about that, because I'm all up for that. And that's just another healing avenue that we will, bring to the attention of a lot of people. Now, Buck, I'm just going to ask you this one other question, and we'll jump over to Allison. Is how does one person that might be hearing this, I mean, what do they look for? I mean, what is the name of the place that you go to that they may look in their state? Or I don't know if these things are national or if they're independent.
Well, I know the place I go to is called Favor Upstate, Faces and Voices of Recovery. They do have about 4 or 5 in South Carolina, different counties. So, but there are a lot out there. I mean, for me, what I did was, I went, when I I actually Googled it, you know, and looked at the reviews, you know, and I saw people that were giving it, you know, rave reviews, you know, so that was the one place I went to, and I pretty much haven't left. I went in there, you know, luckily the first guy I saw was a New Yorker, right? So of course connected right away. And, you know, people there are, you know, they welcome you with open arms. They know what it's like to be the first, you know, we always say the most important person in that room is the newcomer. You know, it's like, it's almost like that hot chick that walks into the room. You know, it's like everybody's like they want to, you know, they want to like they surround, you know, but
fresh meat.
Yeah, it's like, dude, calm down. But it is like that. It is like, unfortunately, it's like fresh meat, right? It's like, because we want to show them the love that they're kind of, you know, lacking, because that's what a lot of us are using, is because we're fighting, you know, we're, you know, struggling inside deep down.
Yeah.
Right? We're just trying to give them that love and affection that, you know, they're lacking, and give them that confidence they need to, you know, fight this thing. So
fantastic. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I can see that being a whole show moving forward in the future with you, Buck. Definitely. You do have a lot to say, even though you always say that you don't, but you are channeling some very positive information. That's what we want to hear. We are so sick and tired about hearing the doom and gloom. Everything is sideways, upside down. And, you know, Marcia talks a lot about the heart and mind connection. And you're talking about the same thing. And it's just all a different dynamic, different perspective of it.
Yeah. Perspective, right?
That's exactly what it is. Yes. So I do want to put this up here. Bailey, you have to go lay down, sweetheart. Mama's not going to play. All right. So, you know, it's funny because Windsor Patriot has got a little thing. It says they only have tampon machines in Canada. Now, I actually saw on, I don't know if Gutfield was saying that they were putting these tampon machines, I don't know if it was the United States, I think it was Connecticut or something like that, in the boys' bathroom. And it took them 20 minutes to tear that damn thing down off the wall. Crazy world that we live in, right? Thank you, Windsor, for sharing your sense of humor with us, because we do need to laugh at that stuff. All right, so moving forward, we're going to go over to Allison, otherwise known as Alley Cat. If you want to watch her channel, it's at the banner. It's going by here. She is on YouTube. And I actually love it, having a conversation with her. So we're going to talk to her. You're going to tell us about what, Alley Cat?
So when you asked me about what kind of healing modality we wanted to tackle today, I actually tuned in to see what the collective needed. I think that's very important. And protection of self and how to do that is really the direction that my higher self is directing me to. So we all hear about the golden light, but what do you do with that golden light? We hear about the egg, that you put yourself in an egg. So what I try to explain to people is, when you're in a state of calm, nice deep breaths, get the light of a star or source or your higher self coming down into you, seeing it come into you inside. Look at it go into all of your cells. See it as your blood circulating the light. Then envision it coming out of your heart space. Let's see if I can get the hearts going. It does not do it. But just see that light come out and envelope your whole entire body, and stay in that state as long as you possibly can. Not only are you breathing in this light, you're seeing it come into the top of your crown chakra, coming all the way down to the tip of your toes. Circulate it in your bloodstream, circulate it in all your organs. Breathe that in and continuously do that. And that's like first step protection, but that's also healing yourself with the light of source. So that is very important. It's very easy to do. Takes a while if you don't have the imaginary functions in your brain to do it, but I'm sure most people can. Shielding. I did this as a short on my YouTube channel and no one watched it. But see yourself as the disco ball.
Disco.
You are the disco ball.
I love it. Staying alive, staying alive.
But now see yourself in the middle of this ball. So anything that wants to harm you, and any negativity, any vibe. So if you walked into the mall and you're just walking around, and all of a sudden you kind of your empathic self is getting the heebie-jeebies. Just put that disco ball in your mind and put yourself in it, and everything is going to start reflecting off. You could do chainmail. I know guys like this. I love the chainmail thing. Put the chainmail on. Empower yourself that you're not allowing anything to influence you, that you're not accepting and don't consent to. I think that's very important. And you can get really creative. You know, I'm just giving you examples. Whatever you use is a useful tool for your mind in order to protect yourself, but also you're not taking in anything negative. So you're going to heal. It's going to feel good.
Yeah, and one of the things that you want to do also, right, with the intention is that if while you just kind of put it out, and I always think intention is the first step with everything, is that that it'll be there as long as you are within this crowd, no matter how long that you're there. You don't put a time limit on it, just there while you're enveloped until whatever, sometimes that's my dog playing with the toy.
That's so cute.
That's the big golden retriever. The other little one, I don't even know where he goes. But so yeah, it's all intention. And sometimes when I put up those protections, and I just forget about it, and I just know that they're there and they are protecting. And I don't, ever, take it down or anything like that. But go ahead, Ellie.
I do in the morning. I do the light. I do all of that. I go into the shower and I'm watching the water hit my body, and all the negative energy that I might have absorbed overnight, I'm watching it go down the drain. I'm taking in the frequency of the water hitting me and allowing it to heal my skin and allowing me to heal my body. So
I think Buck posted one time where when you go in there for the water to cleanse each chakra too, you visualize that. Didn't you do that once, Buck? Do you recall that?
Yep, that and how what is it? Dr. Yamoto, is it? Where he freezes the water, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I play frequencies. I have those little YouTube Bluetooth speakers, and then I put hertz on my phone, and I switch up the hertz once on a blue moon. But I'll put a pure tone on, and it vibrates the bathroom, and it vibrates everything that I'm standing on. So I'm absorbing the frequency within my body as I'm showering. So I'm like taking it in verbally and hearing it, and then I'm taking it in and feeling it throughout my body. So yeah, I do that. And I also do the same thing at night. And of course, it's always there. But for people to really want the healing modality of protection and shielding yourself, that golden light, seeing it bubbling yourself. If you like to bubble your animals, I bubble my cat all the time. It's so simple and it's quick. And with the right intention, using your heart space, always going within.
Yeah.
Within. I think that's like the journey that a lot of people, were asking me, and what Spirit was telling me. This is what a lot of people, simple things to start the healing process.
Yeah, so a lot of people are agreeing. Just to give you an update on this, I'm not sure if you're done, but we'll come back to you in a minute, Ellie. And a lot of people are all putting out their rituals, and that's what these are. These are each individual's rituals And I love that it's a ritual. Like, you get up in the morning, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, whatever, you know, it is, you make it a part of it every single day, because we do want to bring in the positive energy. And that's what everyone is saying. This is a great show so far. They're saying all positive things. We have had it up to here with the negativity out there. I'm not sure how much more that we could take. That we have to block a lot of this out at this time. And whether some people can agree to disagree, whether it's negativity or if it's just knowledge transfer from whatever, for us to wake up, that's great. But there are a lot of us that are awake. I don't know if any of you caught X22 report. I think it was yesterday. Just watch the first 5 minutes. He is basically saying, I know that all of you guys are awake, but there are so many that are not awake, and you're tired of this, and we're all tired. He's screaming at a very high pitch. I told my husband, you've got to listen to what this guy is saying. He's saying, we know the 3-letter agencies. We know all of this here. But I guess we're still not at that point. And then he just goes beyond and says, he asked the question we were all asking, why isn't there, I'm kind of bringing political stuff into this, but why hasn't there been any arrest? And I'm like, and I'm talking back to him, I'm like, you should be telling us, you're the PSYOP, why are you asking us these questions, right? But it is all how they have a way of making us think, making us wake up, whatever it might be. And they're so redundant. It's repeated over and over and over again that at some point you just have to say, and I think my Mayday says it best, is she is so tired of the movie and everyone playing a role in it that we could see, what's coming, what they're going to say, and how foolish it all is. It's like a bunch of fools out there. But in any case, we do have to protect ourselves, right?
And detach that emotional state.
Go for it.
22. Love you to death, but nope, detach your emotional state. There's no reason to get angry.
Yeah.
And here's I'm going to bring perspective in here. Are we all awake to everything? Spiritually, UFOs, political, this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing, over there, over here. Not everybody's awake to all of it. Let's just be realistic. And the dog with the toy is totally saying yes.
I know.
It's confirmation.
He's like, squeak, squeak. Yep.
Every point you made, he squeaked it. She squeaked it. Oh, that's my Bailey boo. All right. I was thinking the same thing. It was synchronicity all the way. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. So I'm going to open up. Are you done, Bailey? I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're good.
That was perfect. It was really perfect. So everybody has a way of healing, and you could plan your day out and then forget, and then instantly do it. Any type of protection that you want to do, whether it's Marsha's, Alley Cats, or even Buck. The mindset of Buck is going to be so much more prevalent with just so many people out there. And Buck, what is the coping? I don't know if this is the right word, and I excuse my ignorance, but what is the coping mechanism in your world for, like, let's say you're going to go about your day and you might not be feeling as strong as you did the day before, and maybe you bring in your spirituality. What might it be?
I don't know. I don't really have a go-to because it depends. It changes every situation, Every
you do a prayer?
I'm not much of a prayer. I don't know.
Believe in yourself. You trust yourself.
I trust myself. I worry about stuff I can control and not what I can't. There's a lot of things that are out of my control that has been probably my issue. So it's just, just looking within, and the main thing is like I always say, forget about it. I can't worry about it.
Yeah. So instead of going to the mattresses, Buck goes to the cannoli. And so, all right. So there you guys go. And I know he has his way. He just was fishing, and it'll come to him it's almost our own. How do I put this? Our own coping mechanism is very personal to each and every one of us, and we all have it within us. And sometimes words cannot explain it. And it's just a place that you go to, your own safe place, whatever it might be. But I'm going to open it up to all you guys out there. If you have a question, a comment for Marsha. She talked about the kidneys and the healing. Don't forget that. That was about a half an hour ago. She started us out with that. If you guys have any questions and concerns for Alley Cat and Buckshot, please bring them on. Or if you just want to make a statement out there, because this is a very positive show. We're bringing in the light for each and every one of you. We always do a prayer. And my candle here is caramel and latte. And I was smelling it earlier. I was like, man, it smells so good. And I didn't realize what it was, but I love caramel. I love the smell.
I have a coping mechanism that I think is a universal one that's easy to do. It's called the inner smile. And if you can just, let's say you're going through your day, you realize you've got low energy, or you're looking at things maybe from a little negative perspective, or you're being bombarded. Just think of any place within you, any cell, and just have it smile. And then have that smile be contagious and to the next cell, to the next organ, and keep that inner smile growing and growing till every part of you is smiling from the inside out. That's a really easy thing to do. You don't have to go into a meditation or do anything outwardly that someone can see, but the inner smile is one of the most important and powerful things you can do to bring yourself back to a place of being centered and a place of love and balance, and remembering all the wise things that you already know. That inner smile can do so much to shift your whole outlook in just very few minutes. And so you can start in your body and just let it catch on.
I'm gonna touch upon something that I think is very near and dear to each and every one of us, because we all felt this at a particular time in our life. And we'll go around the round table here and let each one of you speak about this. But at some point in time in our life, we've never felt loved. And that is it's not a downer. We have all been there. I don't know if you don't have to share your own experience with it, but where I'm going with this is that it is something that has to be talked about, that we can all find love. We can all, we all have our own version of what love is. And it's not what we were told when we were little girls and little boys. You know, you get a picture in your idea, and then you got a frame, and you want to put that certain person in that frame, and it never works out. We have to learn, I think, what our ideas of love is. And so I'm going to start with Allie. And like I said, we don't have to hear your own personal story, but just wise words of wisdom or encouragement at this point for people that may not feel like they have can never find love in their life, or be loved.
I never really felt love, even from my parents. And I never really had love in my life. And even up to this point, it was only until I did the inner work and started actually loving myself and being authentic in that feeling and honoring it, that things started progressing in a different direction for me. I wasn't worried about other people. I was only worried about loving myself. And that was my focus. When I looked outside of myself for people, their interpretation of that 4-letter word is different from mine. I love very deeply. I'm very loyal with that. And I used to give it out freely. I love everybody. But the level of deep, authentic love I gave to myself first. And that's when I really felt it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Buck, we're going to go to you.
Okay. I was trying to look up something in the book, right, that I was reading, because
you want us to come back to you, Buck?
Well, I don't want to, because I hate trying to, I don't want to butcher it, because this gentleman talks about love in that. I remember I was telling you about the married couple, and he talks about everyone loves differently. And if I can remember correctly, like, you know, he was talking about, like, me, I had loving parents, you know, luckily. My brothers, you know, used to beat me up a little bit, but to them it was toughening me up. To me, I didn't feel, you know, but whatever. I've always struggled with, I guess in relationships, I don't know, but he talked about everyone expects, my type of love is going to be different than somebody else's love. In the book, he talked like me, I'm an affectionate person. So my type of what I consider love would be affection back, right? Unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but my wife's type of love is probably more of like when she asks me to do something, if I don't do it right away, that's what the book is talking about. This woman was like, when I asked him to do something, he doesn't do it. So he doesn't love me, even though he was giving her compliments. I love you. You're a beautiful woman, this and that. But he wasn't doing the things she asked. So for her, that was him not showing her love. Me, like I said, I'm the affectionate one. I prefer to have affection back. And so my perception of showing love is different than somebody else's perspective of showing love. So it all, is different from everyone. So that's one thing I'm learning by reading this book, right? One of the things I never thought I'd do would be reading a book. I don't like it because I forget some of it, but it seems like I just remembered, right? Because I only read it yesterday.
And you're really focused into it. Thank you so much. That was great, because what you're basically showing is that two people can be together and have two different perspectives of love, but then that's their journey together, right?
Yep,
So
we're all here to learn, and maybe it's something that maybe I need to learn it's not just one way to show love, right? There's other ways that you could do it, and
why don't you hold up the book? The people are asking that just came in late want to know what book you're referencing.
I was on a show with Tara and Ali. Darlene Hugs in the chat was nice enough. We had somebody read our energies, and one of the things he recommended, because he thinks I would be a good speaker or motivator, was this book called The Noticer by Andy Andrews. And I'm on chapter 5, but pretty much it's all about this older gentleman who looks like he's a bum homeless man, but he walks around the neighborhood and he knows everything. He notices everything, and he shows everyone what they're struggling in life by giving them a different perspective on life in general and ways to look outside, the normal. So I appreciate Hugs. Thank you, Darlene, for that, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had that.
Look at all the love that you are getting in the chat here. All right, Bailey, go lay down.
To be honest, you asked me about that's what I think. We go on this chat every day. You have SBG every day at 6:00. We Not Me. I mean, this is, like I said, my spiritual family. This is what gets me through the day when I'm struggling.
Yeah. And I did not know that. I didn't know what your connection was the first time I had you on here. You were actually referred to me by Ronnie. And then it just turns out that you guys are also interconnected, and this is beautiful. But this is going to bring me back to Marsha. And Marsha, I'm going to ask you the same question about love, whatever version or explanation you want to give us. And then you guys, if you have any questions, please put it out there, or keep sending all the love to the panel here. We appreciate it. And I appreciate if all of you right now could just hit like and share and kind of get this video out there. We have quite a few people on YouTube right now, 33, which is huge for me because I am shadow banned. All right. So, Marsha.
Well, I think, of course, I've had so many moments in my life through some very, very dark times where I have felt very alone and sometimes very much in despair, like the darkness is just falling in on me and I don't have any way to get out of it. I've had a lot of those moments. One thing that I will say is that there's a lot of resilience that can come from just knowing that you can stand in the darkness and just let it be. You don't have to push it away quick. And if you feel alone, you can stand in that aloneness, and you do have the patience and the tolerance and the resilience to just let it be. And it too will pass. It always does. And when it does, there will be a moment of lightness and joy. And if you want to call that love, I think that's a good thing. I had a Navy SEAL one time that taught me a very powerful meditation that he used to do when Navy SEALs have long times when they have to wait. And so he did it while he was waiting, but he said it was very healing for him. And Navy SEALs go through a lot of dark times. And this meditation or this little saying helped him get through those dark times. And he would either put himself in his mind's eye, but what he liked to do is put someone that he was mad at or was having trouble with in front of him in his mind's eye. And the verse that he taught me was, "May you live long and prosper. May you live free from pain and fear. May you walk in light, love, peace, happiness, joy, forgiveness, both now and forever. Amen." And you keep saying that and saying it. Now, the words that you use, light, love, peace, you can put whatever words you want in there: grace, forgiveness, joy, happiness, love, whatever words you want in that third part. If you keep saying it and saying it, it will lift you out of the darkness. And it's an amazingly healing meditation to do. And at times in my life when I had a lot of forgiveness to do, I would go on long walks and I would just repeat that over and over and over, visualizing the people that I needed to forgive in front of me as I said that. Now, at first it was hard because I sure didn't wish them, I sure didn't maybe want them to live long and prosper. Maybe I didn't want them to live free from pain and fear. But when I brought the discipline to wish them to, it was both healing. It was so healing for me. And I began to realize that darkness and that lack of love that I was experiencing was me turning on myself. That was anger turning in on me. And that was causing some of the darkness. So may you live long and prosper. May you live free from pain and fear. May you walk in light, love, grace, peace, happiness, joy. I can go on for about 20 words sometimes, but you might want to do 5 or 6, and you don't have to do the same ones each time, both now and forever. Amen. And then you go through it again. And I guarantee you 5 or 6 times through that, you're going to feel yourself lighten. You're going to feel love bubbling up from inside of you, from inside of your heart, wherever. You're going to feel better. And as you feel better, you're going to find more resilience and strength, and your perspective will change. I guarantee it. And that Navy SEAL had a lot more horrendous things to heal from than most of us will ever face. But for him, it was the grace that he said got him through those tough times. And when he left the SEALs, he continued the practice, but he said it was the thing that was the most powerful thing he'd ever learned or done. So I'll just offer that to you all.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. So, you were talking about healing, and I've done those visualizations where you put that person in front of you and you can see the reflection back to you. But there's also that internal dialogue. It's got to start there. And that internal dialogue is sometimes
put yourself in front of you.
Yeah. Sometimes we are very tough on ourselves, right? We may have been, criticized when we were little and held on to that, or especially if you're super sensitive, which all of us here at this round table is. And I think a lot of people in the chat, we've got a term called empathy, empaths. And so we kind of hold on to a lot of things. And, I've always, I was one of these type of kids that if I did something that I was told not to do it again. I held on to that, and that's not always the best thing to do. You have to learn to release these things, and in turn, what it actually happens, and I'm just speaking for myself, it becomes my internal dialogue. Things that I think that I shouldn't do or should do, and stuff like that. And once you release all that kind of stuff, it's almost like a inner child healing that you have to go through. And once you do that inner child healing and releasing that stuff, and it doesn't happen overnight, you do it once, it's great. You've got to journal about it. You've got to write about it. You will be tested. And that's what a lot of this is we are all if we just take away all the stuff that we're talking about today, and just with the shit show that's going on, the circus that we're in, we're all being tested on some level. And I know that. And it is going to be okay. So we learned about rabbit holes, right? And then, okay, we learned about this, we learned about that, and so on and so forth. Now that we learned about everything outside of us, what are we going to do and take in and believe within ourselves? Everything is a mirror reflection. Everything that's going on in this world is a mirror reflection of what might be going on with us internally, and we have to pick and choose our battles. I hope this is coming across, making sense to people. But at some point when we see how the bad guys beat up on all of us on some way, being crooks and mobsters, what did we do for internally about ourselves? And then you start to see, I am so much more better than all the stuff that I'm hearing out there. And I think we needed to see this. We needed to hear about I hate saying this because I think this word is overused a lot, satanic stuff, but it exists. But we know that we're not. We're of the light. We're beautiful souls within us, and we have to find that love for ourselves down deep inside. And once you actually get to that point, now that we've seen everything that's so bad out there, and we come back and reflect against ourselves, and we say, "Hell, I'm not that bad of a person," right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. May you live long and prosper, Janine. We need you.
Thank you. Let's see here. I want to take some comments for some of the people out there. If any, Buck, if you see anything that somebody wrote and you want to read it, go right ahead, because this is all about our community.
Well, I do. I see Windsor saying he's not just a pretty face, so I get that.
Who?
Windsor Patriot. He's not just a pretty boy.
Yes, Decoder is actually saying forgiveness was one of the hardest things to do, and you can forgive, but you don't ever forget. And that is the God's truth. We don't forget. I always say that there's a lot of people out there that are telling you about the history, and we have to know where we came from so we know what we're going. But history is going to be rewritten. We have to rewrite our own internal dialogue that we have going on. Like I said, everything is a mirror reflection, right? And let's see what else we have going on out here.
We are the author of our own story, right?
Yes. And what chapter? And that's why this channel is called Turn the Page. When you turn the page, if you're ready for the next chapter, where do you want to go with it, right? What do you want to write out? What is your legacy? Some people that follow me are a lot older. And how many people actually think about their legacy? A lot of people just think about survival. A lot of people do think about legacy, and they'll always say it's my children or my grandchildren, and so on and so forth. And but when it really comes down to it, we have to be the best version of ourselves.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right. So I don't have anything else to add to that. I was trying to get a point across that it starts with us, and we could forgive others that are outside of us. But if we if we are very tough on others, we're very tough on ourselves, and that is truth. And I know that as a matter of fact, speaking for myself. But as you start to deflect the things that are just the small stuff, if you will, all of a sudden you're deflecting it with that disco ball. Saturday Night Live, everybody. Staying alive.
That's true, right? It is Saturday night.
It is.
And we're all staying
right.
alive.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So yeah, and you know, at some point when we wake up and we see how ugly things are and has been presented to us, and we get really tired of it, then we start to live our life. And that's what I'm always saying. It's okay to get out there and find the influencers and all the social media and all that other stuff. But what about your own social life? Where is that at today? And that's one of the things that I like to push forward. We had a beautiful day here today, 80 degrees. I was outside this morning driving around in my golf cart, just looking at all the flowers, the azaleas that are blooming, that type of thing. You know, I love, and I'm sure, Buck, it must be really warm by you also.
Yes.
I started seeding, and I'm hoping something will come of it. Yeah, and it's you know, just do 5 things. I'm just going to pick out 5 things. I'm going to high five you guys that you did for yourself today that took you away from the television. Or if it's not the television, it's some device, right? I have to extend that because people say I don't ever turn on a TV, but they've got one of these in their hands all the time.
What did I do today?
All right. Anything else you guys want to share?
Well, I guess the 5 things, right? I went for myself. I went to the gym, the usual routine: gym, meeting. I did drive today. What else? So that's 3. I drove by myself sometimes to get out of the house. I did some shopping, some food shopping. I mean, I don't know if that's for myself, but and now I'm here with you guys. That's my 5.
Marcia, what are your 5 things that you did? Did you pull yourself out of the house at all today?
I did. It's not that warm here. It's a little windy. So I went on a 4-mile walk, which was really exhilarating. I liked it. I did the meditation. I put people that I love and myself included. May you live long and prosper. And I did that for a good bit of the walk. And I had various people that I felt needed some help or some prayer, including myself, of course. And I did that for a good bit of the walk. So that was one thing. I am trying to focus on getting more art done. So when I came back, I did some of my art, focused on that. Also cleaned up my studio space, which is always a challenge. So that's 3. And the thing that dominated a lot of the day was that we had some pretty bad storms come through here, and they took out it took out the internet for a time, and we have cable. We have to purchase those 2 things together because my husband needs the internet for his work. So they come as a package. But the difficult thing is if one goes out, the other does too. So it's sort of like chasing your tail sometimes. That took up a good bit of the day. And I talked to my sister about her daughter who just found out she's pregnant. So we had a nice chat about that. Yeah. And so a new soul will be coming. And so that's 5, and coming here tonight. When I finally did get in here, got my computer to work. Yeah. So I guess
it was all good. Everything is always perfect in its own way. Alley Cat, if you want to share anything, please do. And if anybody else has anything else that they want to share, otherwise we'll just say good night to everybody, and everybody have a beautiful Saturday night.
Sure. So this morning I did my morning affirmation gratitude, and I did that outside under my tree. I have a little cat, little Thor, that brings me so much joy in the morning. So I feed him. He's a stray. I then took some time to read a book, and then I got to do an oracle reading for somebody that really needed it. And it was really beautiful. And just being here and being present with everybody.
So you do readings. Do people know how to get a hold of you to do a reading?
It's on my website.
Okay. And what is your website?
It's on the bottom scrolling.
Okay, that is your website. Okay, Alley Cat Creations. Everything is with a K, 211.com, 211.com. Appreciate it. Like I said, I was outside. I was driving around. I had Rizzo was my it's so funny. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'm going to talk about dogs for a little bit. There you go with the hearts. Beautiful. So now that they make these TVs much bigger and everybody has them up on their walls and they're just huge, they're ginormous. My dog, my youngest dog, watches TV. So every movie there is a dog in, and he's got to bark at it, and it's driving me nuts. If I see something, I like watching people that shows about shelters and cats and dogs that need to be adopted. I can't watch it because. And I don't know how to control him. It's just part of his nature. He thinks that he's engaging in a conversation with them. So today I said, all right, we're going to go for a long walk. And we did that. We went for a long walk. And then we went around in the golf cart. And I was videotaping it because I was going to, and I might still just do a short video on how beautiful all the flowers are here. And then we run across somebody walking a dog. And sure enough, he's barking at him. I'm thinking, does he know what the reality is of all of this? So I took him out of the golf cart and I let him get nose to nose with the other dog, and they were fine. But as soon as you pull them apart, and the lady tells me, I said, I'm sorry, I have to socialize him a little bit more. And I says, he watches TV and he barks at other dogs. She goes, so does mine. I'm like, wow, how many dogs are out there just barking their heads off, and they don't understand why the dogs are not paying attention to them on this box that's on the wall or whatever it might be. But I'm sure a lot of you guys may be experiencing this too. But it's funny. It's funnier than heck because I've got another dog that won't even look at a TV. That just wants to always follow me around, puts all the attention on me, and I just love that. And so, anyways, I just wanted to share that story with you guys, and I'm sure some of you may even have some of your dogs that do that too. So if you do, put it in the chat. That's always good to see. Let's see. There was something else here that I thought I saw that I wanted to read to someone. I can't. It probably went by really fast. So someone is saying their grand doggy with TikTok and the 3 Goldens across the street. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, I think the Golden Retrievers are the #1 dog right now. There are so many videos out there. It seems like different years there's favorite dogs out there. But I will tell you, me and my husband went to go look into a shelter, and all that we find down here in the South are pitties. And they call them pitties. I didn't even know they call them, but they're pit bull mixes. And I wonder, and a lot of them are hounds because we're in the country, but that's what's out there. And everybody else is scooping up the smaller, cute dogs. You can put them in your purse, you carry them and take them with you. But there's a lot of animals out there that have to get adopted that are bigger. I think the younger families need to step up and adopt some of those. So yeah, it's heartbreaking when we went through and there's still that respiratory cough that's going on with the dogs. There was one whole building that they wouldn't take us into because they still have that. So, and they don't know what's causing it. And I did shows on that, but it is just send a lot of love to all the animals out there. And if anybody has a prayer for the animals, you're more than welcome to do it right now.
I'm not much of a prayer speaker myself. I have good wisdom, but not. I can't put it into words like as eloquently as some other people. That's probably why I don't do it much. I do it more
the Buck way. You do it the Buck way.
I do it more internally.
Yeah, well, so somebody's asking. Healing Breeze of Summer Woman is her Indian name, and her real I guess American name. I don't know how else to say this. Her given name is Marsha.
Given name, Marsha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her given name is Marsha. Somebody's asking about that. And if you ever want to add on to your name on that there, must be somebody that's first time that's seeing you. And I appreciate everybody being here tonight. And I thank each and every one of you guys for bringing in your light into the show. And we'll see each other really soon. And thank you, Buck. Thank you, Allie. Thank you, Marsha. This was a beautiful show. Very positive.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful pyramid that Allie sent me.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Was
put it on
it-
your desk.
For my desk.
Is it black? Is it black on the top?
It's black
Yes.
tourmaline.
Beautiful.
All right. My daughter stole the 2 keychains she gave me.
So
Yeah.
Buck always says stole. And Buck probably said, "Hey, honey, do you want this?" And sure,
No.
Daddy, I'll take it.
No, I wanted it. I ain't gonna argue. I'm like, okay, you know. But she loves the heart, Allie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm glad. I knew that she was gonna pick that one out. Because her favorite color was blue.
Fantastic. We can also do another show in the near future just on art alone and how it opens up our creativity, because it's real important with the art and artsy fartsy stuff that's going on.
That's why I
all
got
right.
a degree.
You got a degree in art?
I got a college degree in art. I got a bachelor's degree, painting, sculpture, and drawing.
Oh wow! Well, people do go to school for that, yeah, and yeah, you've always had a love for that. That's great, and I would have never thought of going to school for that because I was part of.
option.
I had the brainwashed parents. You know, you got to do something, constructive with your life.
Okay, but my dad was a teacher and my mom worked for the school system too, and they made me go to college. So you know what I did as a rebellious child? Oh, you're going to make me go to college? You're paying for it, but I'm going to art school.
Well, you basically said you're going to do what you enjoy, and that's really cool. That's really good. Yeah, and yeah, look where we're going with this. There's a lot of statues out there that need to be rebuilt because a lot of them were torn down. And I keep saying this to everybody out there. You have, I always call them the artsy fartsy people, and then you had the ones that were, the corporate type of people that I don't even know. Some of them had 5. No, not that many. Probably a couple master degrees, and I would be in corporate with them, and they would brag about their degrees all day long, and they would talk about where they went to school and everything else, and I would just sit there really quiet. I went to college. I got an associate degree. I learned how to work with people, and I learned how to get the smartest one to sit next to absorb all of their information and to teach me. That's my education. That's what I did, and let me tell you, I was very successful. I traveled the United States with some of the largest companies out there implementing their software program, and I took 1 or 2 classes in computer programming. So all this stuff about the college, and you're hearing more about it, is just a bunch of bullshit. You have to go into each company and you have to understand how they are doing business, because you're not going to learn it in school. They just want the cha-ching, right?
It's just a piece of paper to bind you.
I have one question before we say goodnight here. I keep seeing somebody putting a pound free Jason Q. What is that all about? Do you guys know?
Jason's in jail.
Jason's in X jail or Twitter jail.
Oh, I saw he was gone off of there. Okay.
Yeah, I was wondering why my phone was blowing up with notifications.
Okay, that's what that is. I saw that like 2 days ago. He got kicked off of there. You know what? He's just been Jason, and I think they're censoring everything really bad right now. Marsha, any last words from you?
No, I'm just happy to be here and loving everyone and loving the energy from everyone and all that's coming from this group here, the 4 of us. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So if you guys want to learn more about Marsha here, she's got her title, Healing Breeze of Summer Woman. I did an interview just with her a couple days ago. Go back a couple days and check it out. And I did one also with Alley Cat. I've always done Saturday Night Lives with just Buckshot, and I thought we'd do a couple of roundtables so you guys get familiar with them. And who knows what the future holds for these kind of shows. But moving forward, Turn the Page is all going to be about positive healing energy. Every now and then in the mornings, I might do a news story if something, I don't know. It's going to take a lot for me to get up and talk about it because it is all movie. And, I think I saw somebody out here, Amy Boyd. Amy Boyd put something out there that I think she was following someone that there was so much out there of, let me see if I can find it. And I have to agree with her on this. I'm not quite sure how deep she went with it. Boy, oh boy. Hold on a second, you guys. I think I got to go back a little bit. So Amy Boyd was saying that there's something going on with it's almost like an occult. Okay, I'll just say it that way, that how they are controlling our minds with let me see if I can find this right here. Amy, if you could repaste what you had, I'd appreciate it. Here she goes. She says, I've been away from social media. Want to shout out, she wants to give a shout out to another channel, which I want to read this before I give out the channel. They've been listening to overcomers and whistleblowers on the generational cult groups that we've been under. Now that's really interesting, because I kind of felt that the other day, that all of the stuff that they keep repeating over and over. You go to, and I've always put people in different cliques, you know, of social media influencers and the truthers out there, and that's the way my brain works. I actually own a business. It was a retail store that was called New Click. And it was all trendy items for kids, because that's how my brain works. I see things in cliques and groups. And so what I was seeing with the influencers out there was that so much of the information was so redundant. It's almost as if that we heard it 100 times that they would think we would believe it. And so Amy, I think she may have just reposted something out there. And I'm starting to see that it's almost as if you know, they have to keep repeating this for a particular reason, and that could be another whole show that we go into. But Amy, thank you for bringing that to our attention, because a lot of people are turning away from this information that's out there, because it's such a clown show out there. You don't know what to believe. Everything is so inverted at this time. Would you guys agree to that?
Spellcasting.
Oh, sure. Yeah, spellcasting. Marcia, what did you say?
Mhm.
I said, yeah, I agree completely. It's what happened in World War II in Germany, building up to the war and the Holocaust and all that stuff. And it's called propaganda, but it's so much more prevalent now, because we're all more connected with our devices and the internet, and it comes out more rapidly and more times per day. World War II, the main communication device was the radio. And that was used a lot, and newspapers, which were used a lot. But today you've got all of these channels and influencers, and a lot of them are repeating the same thing. It is propaganda. And we do need to. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And like I said, Marcia, in the near future, we could do a show on this, you know, early morning show, just talking about all these different types. Yeah, just talking about these different types of things. But this is coming from, I can't see that name there, Pat Adams. Okay, saying so over it. God is in control. Exactly. And this person is taking care of their home and taking care of themselves, and until the movie ends. And yes, everybody is doing that. I mean, one of my moderators that I talk to, very often, we're saying the same thing. We're going back to the shows that were made in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And actually, when I'm watching those, I can see when they started to implement the bullshit into the television, right, into the boob tube, and you can kind of see where it was coming in. As most of the stuff that came very heavy was in the 70s, and it's amazing how our minds work now, right?
Yeah, but you have to be larger than the propaganda. You have to expand your mind larger than the stories that are being shoved at us. I mean, and I do think some of the shows that are earlier are so wonderful to watch, because they do remind us of the values that are important. And people do, in some of those earlier shows, they do, in the writing of the show, live out those values. And like, for example, some that came to mind are like Matlock, Perry Mason. The values there are ones that are wholesome. The writing may be a little corny at times, but it's nice to hear values that one can be uplifted by, come across, yeah.
Well, I'm just going to say this one last thing. I know I can't really shut up here, but the Donna Reed show goes back to like 1957, and it was in black and white. And there was a boy and a girl, and I think Annette Fabray was the girl.
Shelley Fabre.
Okay, thank you.
Shelley River,
I always
yeah.
forget her first name, but she played in Coach later on in the years
Yep,
as a
yep.
comedy show. But there's a son in there. I think his name is Paul Peterson.
Prentice. Paul Peterson or Paul,
Maybe,
it's Paul Peterson or
yeah.
yeah, I think you're right.
So what I do when I'm watching these old shows, and I'm kind of corny myself, is I'll go and I'll look up the stars, because when I was a kid, I didn't pay any attention. We didn't have access to looking things up. And I looked him up, and all of a sudden, because I put it on my phone, when I'm watching TV, it pops up on YouTube, right? There's some story about him. He was trying to let people know how corrupt it was when he was doing that show in 1957. And then at this time, in this show, this video, I don't know how old it was, but he was an older man. He had oxygen tank. He talked about Dick. What's that guy that did the ball that fell?
Dick Clark.
Thank you.
Who?
Yep. Dick Clark.
Oh yeah, Dick Clark. Him and Dick Clark kind of warned him about Hollywood, running around certain circles. He talked all about this. So Dick Clark is obviously, they said, is passed away by now. But yeah, so I started to really research him, and his career went nowhere. But the Shelley Fabre probably was one of them that was pulled into it, and she was making all kinds of movies with Elvis Presley and all this other stuff. And he was bitter about it, but he got to a place when he was an older man in his life, and he was telling the truth. But you had to read between the lines and what he was saying. So that's how far back this stuff was going in Hollywood. And what was that? Almost at the end of the
In the 50s, yeah. Well, there was a lot of like Leave It to Beaver, Ozzie and Harriet. Those shows are still on, and yeah, I think Leave It to Beaver. I think those kids escaped being pulled into the Hollywood stuff, but a lot of them didn't. I think his name was Paul Peterson, or
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
big.
yeah. That's what his name was, and and that's what I do is if I find these old things, and we talk. There's just so much more we can talk about, but I want to say goodnight to people. If somebody out there's putting Michael Lander. We could go on and on with all these different people. Green Acres. I love Green Acres. It is so
Little House
corny.
on Prairie. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the kind of stuff that entertained me, even though it was silly as shit. What's that, Buck?
Highway to Heaven.
Yeah,
Highway to
Oh,
Heaven.
when he
Yeah.
was that show when he was an angel, right? And he would show up.
Mm-hmm. I love
yeah,
that.
definitely.
Those are good shows, yeah.
He was trying to bring the goodness at the time when things were going awry, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys again one more time,
You're
and
welcome.
now we turn the page.
Bye,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
This wasn't. Does one.